Hey, Lords and ladies, and welcome to a Cornish first look of Brichi Quest. A small indie title developed by Bohdan Rodchenko, both developed and published. It's a Zelda-like roguelike. So if you die, it's over. You can't save. And you have to scavenge and craft and that general kind of system. Made by a single developer. We'll have a quick look and see what you think of it, and I'll give my opinions of the game at the end. First of all, let's check out the options. Fairly simple: music, sound, and the 3 language choices between Ukrainian, English, and Russian. So there's not really a lot of options, to be honest. And then let's dive in. Let's do a new world. We have to spell the name of it. So let's do test. Okay, so welcome to the world. The way this works is that you chop down trees, get resources, craft resources. You can see the instructions in the bottom right-hand corner. Q and E rotates the camera. Space or left mouse button is for building, attacking, building, or crafting. Shift is dash. Control is throw or use magic spells if you have access to them. You can gain used items to craft and that kind of thing. And our job is to basically get off this island. So first things first, let's gather some resources. Can't get that. Come on, let me at least gather the apple. Okay, so we need to, first of all, we need to gather some wood. And then we need to get over to this corner. Make a template, which we can't get access to. Okay. We don't have any spaces. Let's control. Okay, so we're in the sort of sticky situation where the enemies can pass through terrain. Leave us alone. If we don't make a sound, I don't think those things follow us. Okay, so it's leaving us alone. Okay, so we've got some blocks made. So now what we have to do, you have to be careful because if you fall into the water, you insta-die. What we need to do is we need to get off this island. Now we have a bit of a safe breathing zone. So let's chop down some more wood. You can fight the spike monsters, I wouldn't recommend it. Dodging in this game is quite challenging to do. So it's one of those things where you really just want to avoid them if possible. So let's get here. Let's craft some more some more planks. We're just going to have to keep crafting because we can't drop stuff apparently. I have yet to find a way to drop stuff. I mean, I do like this little crafting system they have. I would suggest that they actually have some kind of tutorial just to tell you what you're meant to do. Because I died quite a lot early on just trying to figure out how things worked. Because unsurprisingly, trying to learn game mechanics while you're being chased around by a monster that is attracted by sound is not really the best thing in the world, if I'm being honest. Normally, I would suggest that if you have a starting location, the starting location is always relatively safe, just so it allows new players to get a grasp of the mechanics. Even roguelikes like Sword of the Stars had such systems where the first opening level was really designed just to allow you to grasp how to get hold of the rules, as it were. Okay. So, get some more bricks done. As I said, you have to be careful about falling off things as well, because if you fall off, you die instantaneously. Everything takes a hit bar from you, by the way, so just be aware of that. And great, those things got spawned as well. As we work, basically, there's everything I've met so far in this game is trying to kill you, so just be aware that there is no like safe place on the starting island. Let's get this done. These done. Okay. So we're on to a new island. Let's first see if there's any kind of nasty monster lurking on here. No, okay. This is probably going to be a dungeon. This is the second part of the game. Dungeons. Dungeons function in the way that you expect a dungeon to work, which is that there normally will be treasure in them, but there's also going to be either a boss fight or an arena fight of some kind. So just something to be aware if you do go into the dungeons. They are actually fairly tricky. Right, I'm going to grab myself some apples, because apples so far are the only thing I have found that can heal you in this game. Let's go into the dungeon so you can have a check it out what it is. I do, like, my main issue with this game is that I really think they need to have a better tutorial. The tutorial is, like, there is no tutorial, so you're sort of stumbling about trying to figure out how the game works, which is fine, but at the same time, it can be a bit of a challenge. See, as you can see. Come on. Oh. Also, the downside is your health doesn't come back straight away. It comes back over time. So you need to basically... Yeah. And... This is... Okay. This is the issue I have with this game. It's that... The combat really sucks. I'm not going to lie about this. I am not a fan of the combat in this game at all. I think it's... You can't slash... See, like, you can only slash in front of you. You can't, like, rotate while slashing or anything like that. So it's actually really hard. You can't backpedal while slashing. You only slash forward, which actually makes it very hard for you to fight monsters that pursue, because you end up having to sort of... There's no dodge either. So when you saw me fighting those, like, wood bug-like creatures, that is one of the things that is frustrating about this game, that the enemy automatically... The enemy automatically does 1 bar of health damage so far. Every enemy I've met in this game does one block of health damage. And because your health takes time to come back, it literally means it's really easy just to get annihilated straight away for no fault of your own. So it's one of those things where I really do think the developers need to either make it so that you can like attack in multiple directions while moving, or make it so that there's knockback to your hits, because the enemies don't react when you hit them at all. Which is one of the main issues I have, is that the combat in this game, the enemies just don't react. So it can be very hard to actually avoid damage. Most of the time you're better off just avoiding fighting altogether in this game. Okay, need to find a quiet area now. But like I said, like, as someone's first, if this is someone's first attempt at the game, it's not a bad attempt. Like, I play a lot of roguelike and like survival crafting games like this, due to the fact that I get sent a lot of them, and there's some good ones and some bad ones. This one has promise, but I just think that some of the baseline mechanics are just lacking. The lack of, well, to be honest, the lack of combat options is relatively frustrating. Being unable to attack straight forward all the time is quite challenging to overcome, because they say it's basically like Zelda. Well, Zelda allowed you to basically move while attacking in multiple directions, not just attacking forward. You could like do a power attack and stuff. This you can't do. I don't know. I just find it. See, look here, like with these wasps, it means that you end up really having to sort of dodge out of the way, which is fine when the enemy does that. But if you're facing a foe like those wood lice who don't really dodge or take any kind of knockback damage, it can become quite a pain. I don't know. Like, the thing is that one of the issues I'm having with the game when I'm trying to record it is that I'm just not getting far enough into it to see any more if there's any more content, because the way that the combat works in the game just means that the moment you get into a dungeon, you basically die nearly all the time because the character doesn't handle well in combat. I really think that the developer needs to either allow you to do to do attacks from different angles while moving, not just from forward, or he needs to make it so that when you go into combat, it becomes like, I don't know, turn-based. Like, the thing is, he says it's like a roguelike. So the thing is, like, most roguelikes that I play tend to be turn-based due to the fact that the nature of how combat works in roguelike tends to favour turn-based combats. Having this kind of Zelda-style like gameplay really requires you to be able to attack from 360 degrees, or at least from a wider. Like, I should be able to click on the screen and my character should turn in that direction and attack. The fact that it's really determined by the direction that you're facing rather than where your mouse facing is not something that I particularly like, because you end up having to almost like fight your own character to perform combat attacks, which is not great. I mean, this is one of the things with games like this, is that if the combat doesn't work well, you really can't see a lot of content. Like, let's get to this dungeon that's here, so we can see what's going on here. Like, I want. Okay, that's another thing. Things falling off objects in this game is a common issue as well. It's frustrating because it doesn't tell you that you can't swim, and you can't. And the game leaves out a lot of information. I'm not going to lie. Like, for example, I would have said to people, I would have had a tutorial, or even just like a pop-up saying like, "Don't fall into the water, you'll drown," just because you can't swim. Also, stuff like being aware that your items will literally be thrown like 3 squares away from you, or how many squares is like 2 squares away from you. So they fall off the edge of things, so you end up having to sort of stand like a good sort of several meters away from edges just so the things don't fly away from you. Can be a bit annoying because you're trying to basically balance all those things. Right, so we're on to a new island. So that's just wood. We better go and get an apple. Let's try getting through a dungeon. Like I said, like, if this is someone, like, as for a single developer, this is like a nice attempt. Is it good? Is it perfect? No. Does it need a lot of polish? Yes. But if they put more polish into the game, make it so that your attacks go more than just straight forward. Maybe do knockback damage. I think that would be nice. Having knockback damage would, I think, would really help. Okay, so how am I supposed to fight these ones? Okay, so they just fall off. Or am I supposed to get them to shoot each other? I don't know, but as you can see, the combat in this game is frustrating. I don't know. I think Brichi Quest, the problem is I haven't been able to get far enough into it to see if there's anything more beyond, because the combat is so sort of frustrating, if I'm being honest. I think this game needs a lot more work, and I, to be honest, wouldn't really recommend playing it. I know it sounds harsh, and I know the developers have probably put a lot of time into making it, but I really think that if the developers want people to play this game, they need to redo the combat system in this. It just doesn't have any weight. There's no knockback to your attacks. The fact that you only attack forward is really annoying, especially with how much damage the enemies do. The fact that your healing items take a fair while to basically heal you, and while they're doing that, if you get hit again, your other health bar ticks down. I don't know. I think the game needs a lot of work. It needs to have a proper tutorial. It needs to have a better thought out, or at least developed combat system. These things are like really important for a roguelike to have. Because as it stands, if nothing else, they definitely need to fix the combat, and they definitely need to remove those sort of vile enemies that follow you around at the beginning of the game. Because when I was playing it, I played it for like half an hour, every time getting killed by divine creatures, because I couldn't figure out what I was trying to do and where I was trying to go. Maybe do it when you're crafting items as well. Do it where if you get a perfect, rather than making a single item, you make like multiple items, so it just speeds up how quickly you make things. Because as you saw, most of this like 17-minute video was spent with me just trying to craft wooden planks to get to other map tiles. So, to summarize, Brichi Quest, I wouldn't really recommend it. I think it has a lot of potential, though I really do think the developer needs to sort of go back to some of the core mechanics and like really heavily rework them, if it were me. I've been Cornish-knight, this has been Brichi Quest, and I shall see you all again next time. Goodbye.